It's PSGL. We are currently having technical difficulties, apparently, when it shows, so we've only missed the first few minutes of qualifying. I'm Otaku Logan with T-Dub alongside me, and this is PSGL PlayStation F2, round 8 in the Netherlands of Season 38, the last round of 2024.
It is, and we jump in halfway around the first qualifying laps of the session with the Kick-Sauber of Fraser, the first out there coming up towards the chicane to start the final sector. Bit of a lock-up for the lime green car, but Fraser in some decent form, was getting stuck in last week in Silverstone, battling for a potential second place. We're looking to try and carry that form onwards.
Yes, absolutely. So, last week, of course, Lifeboat winning 3 and 4? I know he didn't win Monaco.
Yes, it is. 3 out of the last 4.
First time's coming in. Lifeboat taking the top spot again by over a tenth.
Oh, Fraser's gone straight on at turn number 1 through Tarzan, straight into the gravel as he's finished a lap.
Thank goodness it wasn't on a lap. So we have a nearly full house tonight. We've got 19 out of 20. We had a full house last week, and I was away watching snooker.
You missed quite the cracker. We had some very interesting battles indeed. Lifeboat Sergioli, 2 right at the sharp end, and the 2 Hasses currently following in behind the RB currently. It's the 3 main championship protagonists, 1, 2 and 3, with Christian slotting into 4th place. But yeah, it was Lifeboat, as you said, making it 3 wins out of 4, and an absolute mess going on behind in a very, very hotly contested battle for 2nd place.
Yeah, so as you know, 2026 will be the last year this race is held, and that will probably include the game, unless they're nice enough and they keep it just like they have with Portugal and in past seasons, France and China. We talked about it off air. Didn't realise we were off air, but that was funny. It is a bit overcast, so we're not sure if it's going to be raining or not. It looks like it's just been raining. It's just cleared up in time for some dry running, so it is starting to look light out there. Yep, there's the sun coming out right now.
Yeah, the fact that everybody has piled out suggests that maybe there is some rain forecast, but you can just see the sun starting to poke through the very heavy cloud cover that we've got, so maybe the rain will be staying away. Of course, you can get 3 runs in on 3 brand new sets of soft compound tyres. Ghosting is on, so we have to restart the session so everybody can make the use of all of those red stripe soft compound tyres. And with not even at the 5-minute mark, all but 2 drivers have got their laps in. One of them, man, like he was getting stuck in last week, had a few interesting collisions, and Leonardo, who was really banging heads with that other McLaren car down there in 19th at the moment as well.
Yes, of course. I should just mention, by the way, we are 5 minutes into the session, and man like is on a lap. He was 5th in the race, but due to penalties was bopped down to 13th and came home with 0 zip nada.
It was a bit of a grudge match. Bit of a grudge match with Manlike and Leonardo.
I wonder if it will continue here. That's the tricky Zandvoort, very narrow, very claustrophobic it can make you, as we see him go around this very banked turn, which were added for the 2020 race, which was cancelled because of a certain thing.
That you cannot mention.
Apparently.
Leonardo, by the way, has jumped up into 2nd place, just under 0.03 of a second off Lifebout, going for 4 wins in 5 races. The RB car making a late surge towards the 2 Haas drivers in the championship. We should make a little bit of a mention of it. Sergioli with a 4th place last week, a 12-point lead over teammate Epic Vale, 70 points to 58, and a further 4 points back on 54 is Lifebout. Those are the 3 main contenders, Yasisaki and CPI Fraser. Really the outsiders in 4th and 5th on 42 and 41 points respectively.
Yeah. And we're on board with the new Constructors Champions in Formula 1, McLaren. Man like trying to set a time on the board. Is it going to be good enough to get to the top? No, but close to it. Third, he's 0.63 down. 0.063 down, sorry.
Really close. Really, really close. We look at the delta, the top 10 covered by just over 0.3, top 5 covered by 1.5. When it gets down to crunch time, if you make a mistake on that final lap, you're going to be very firmly in the mud. And George Morgan, the GOAT, is here as well. Lovely to see
George!
Mr. Logan in the chat. Oh, Logan.
What are you doing? You should be watching the darts.
We could do live updates at the moment. It's Neil Zonnevel taking on Robert Owen, if anyone's interested.
I'm going to be going nuts if there's a 9 darter. You'll not hear the end of it.
I'm going to be annoyed as well. Do you think Gerwin Price will beat Keen Barry?
No.
Ooh.
Gerwin Price
Big shout.
I've never been a fan of Gerwyn Price anyway, being a Scot.
Is that the old Gary Anderson incident of the Grand Slam?
Yeah. Alan Suter, actually, and some kick is kicked off. McKillen, he's went off the track. Oh, and there's a spin by Coolman. Not very cool, man. God, sorry. And Lifeboat not happy with his lap coming in. And Epic Vale crossing the line. He goes to the top by 0.024. What is Sergio's response? He's faster, but not faster than Epic Vale. He's going to remain in 5th at this rate. Big 1/10 gap between 4 and 5.
Crucially as well, the Lifeboat not improving, was a 10.5 down, so unable to find any time from run 1 to run 2. Are we going to see the two Haas cars now commandeering the front row? Sergio was up by a 10.5 through the first couple of sectors. Will it be first? No, terrible final sector from the championship leader. Remains only in 5th place. That is now 6th as Yano relegates Sergio down a position into 4th for the Williams.
Yeah, and you may notice on the Haas, they have the GR, the Toyota Gazoo Racing sponsorship on them now. Now we can really call them the Gritty Haas. They've just lost to the Gritty Haas, and they are at this rate. They're 67 points ahead in the Constructors' Championship.
Yes, it is sizable. I think they've got double the points of anybody else. More
Sounds
than double
like,
the points of anybody else. Yeah,
like
so absolutely crazy stuff.
It's like a typical series of WEC in 2019. Toyota just dominate everything. It's interesting to see. We've also got Ford coming in as a technical partner for Red Bull, but they're still going to use their own powertrains. Strange. Interesting to see, though. And here is the Red Bull of Chris Rebel. Got a bit of something with the stewards, as they, I believe, received 15 seconds worth of penalties.
Yes, that's quite a sizable amount. Was another driver pinballing around a little bit last week in Silverstone. If you missed it, go and watch it back, because it was absolutely crazy battles all the way through the field. George Morgan backing his local hero Nick Kenny, takes on Stowe Bunce, I believe. Potentially could take on 5-time world champion Raymond van Barneveld in round number 3.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Logan's jumped in the chat.
Who's that, I wonder? So Epic Vale still at the top time. Very favourable position for him. Driver that has been fantastic in qualifying this season. Both Hasses have, in fact, actually. Not Sergio Lee last week. He only managed 15th, but managed to recruit a great recovery drive to 4th. Kevin's coming through the banked turn number 3, which is turn 3 and not turn 4 for some reason. Man like the late bloomer once again is getting on a lap.
God.
And a massive lock-up into turn number 1 that's called Tarzan. Don't say it, Logan. Don't say it, Logan. Okay. And we're not going to do the call thing, because that would just be awkward. Is he Red Bull? Is that a... Well, I'd call it... Is it a mini side pod on the back of the car? It looks like it, doesn't it? Well, they've got those big shoulder blades popping out. I don't notice that on the other... Well, they're there on the other cars, but they're not as, outrageous, let's say. They're going to be changing in 2026. I actually like the changes. I'm not a fan of how they change the engine, but, what much they do. I think the aero's going to look sick. It's like 2005 all over again.
It's just the question as to whether they're actually going to be fast or not, because Red Bull in particular raised their concerns. I tell you what, with just under 7 minutes to go, though, in this qualifying session, the top 10 are covered by less than 0.2 of a second. Man like now to the top, though. Pushes Epic Vale out of the provisional pole position. First driver into the 108.2s, but he's barely in there because it's a 2.99.
Oh, 2.99.
Now Lifeboat goes even quicker. 2.22 Richie Benno style.
Yeah, but you can have... I think people are just concerned, in my opinion, because they don't think they'll have the competitive advantage. And as we know, Red Bull have had a competitive advantage for many years now. Not this year, with all due respect. It's been quite close for first. I don't even think there's a clear first now. Who's the best team, who develops the best car.
Yeah, because it was Red Bull for the first third, McLaren for the middle third, and Ferrari for the final third.
Yeah, so it was a complete mix. And my dad doesn't realise I'm commentating. Brilliant. So
Well
we have
set,
6
everybody.
minutes to go.
Oh. Oh no. Has Logan had to go and tell his dad to
No, I'm still
stop
here.
jumping over? Okay.
So the Ferraris 4th and 5th, a typical weekend for them in Formula 1. Except last weekend, of course. We got a 2nd and a 3rd, and it was a fantastic recovery drive. I better stop waffling. What's coming up? McKellen has finally got off the bottom. He is P14. And I am looking to see who else is on the lap.
Sergio?
No, it was Yanil that was on the lap. He's in 6th right now. Sergioli, there we go. He's on.
Bailed.
He's on the lap and he's gone into the pits. Thank you. I do believe Zane was on a lap and he is coming around. 5 minutes to go. Geraint Price played league darts with George Morgan. That's fantastic.
I think he means Nick Kenny. Fellow
I've played
Welshman,
Countdown with Rachel Riley.
Well, that's a bit of a flex, I have to say.
Okay, not with Rachel Riley, but you know what I mean.
Epic Vale, by the
there
way,
when
is
it
up by a
was.
10th of a second in the first couple of sectors.
And it's, whoa,
my
slide!
goodness.
Big slide at the grandstand section. Final 2 corners. I believe this is it Lyondike Bocht, named after the Indy 500 winner?
It is. I'm not going to
he's
try and
coming.
pronounce the Dutch names because I feel like that could come across as slightly offensive. But Epic Vale does bail, as his teammate did, remains in 3rd place. And that massive slide coming out of 12, probably losing him the 10th that he had in his back pocket.
George, was Geraint Price wearing ear defenders when you played him?
It definitely wasn't Gerwin Price. Nick
Who
Kenny.
was it then?
Already mentioned it. Nick Kenny.
Nick Kenny.
Yeah. He's another Welsh darts player.
Oh, right. Goodness sake, I got mixed up. I'm not in the best of spirits, let's be honest, when it comes to talking conversations. Kevin's is coming around to... Oh, this will probably be coming in. I don't think this is a fast lap. Might be wrong.
He's pretty committed through the final couple of corners.
Yeah, it is committed. Is it going to be good enough to go up the order? It is. It's 4th. 0.152 off the top. Still 108, all the 2s to be defeated. And it's off the V-Carb of Racing Bulls Lifeboat. We can call them Racing Bulls now, I think, because they have officially changed their name.
Are they changing the name again next year? Isn't it like it's no longer going to be V-Carb? I'm not sure. It changes every 30 seconds.
I hope it's just called Faenza. Because they're still in
That would be pretty
Faenza.
cool.
Just call it FNZ or something. But pronounce Faenza. Or have Enston instead of Alpine. I digress.
Got to have a quick look at Manlight, though. Currently in 2nd place, improving by 1/4 of a tenth through the first sector, trying to get provisional pole back from Lifebout. 1st and 2nd at the moment, 700ths of a second. Separating them, but a bit of a rear lock-up. Manages to rotate the car very nicely and very aggressively, but bails out of it.
Oh, that was looking good as well. He was nearly godlike, let alone manlike. 2 minutes and 24 seconds to go. I'm not sure if... Well, Kevin's can definitely get a time in if he can hustle. Speeding through the pit lane, don't do that. You get a penalty if you do that too many times, funnily enough. Yeah, Neil coming around in the Williams. Heading down towards the grandstand section, one of the 2 DRS zones on this track. Not many overtaking opportunities. I think best ones are at Tarzan.
Yeah, you would imagine so. And then the run up through turn 2 and turn 3 through the first bank corner as well. Continuing out of Tarzan, Yanil was down by 1/4 of a tenth through the first couple of sectors. Can the Williams driver find any time as we cut the beam from 8th up to 3rd? Big final sector, moves to just a tenth off the provisional pole time, but can he hold on to P3 with a lot of fast drivers yet to set their final runs?
Yeah, exactly 1/10 off in that. It's very dark looking Williams, I have to say. I'm sure it's a little glossier in the real world. Or I just having bad memory.
I can see that. Leonardo is down by 2 milliseconds through the first sector. First of the real leading contenders, bit of a lock-up. Going into turn 9 as well.
And through the DRS zone he goes. And 45 seconds have elapsed. And he's 0.44 .044 up on his previous time. He'll need to do any more better than that if he wants to go any higher, because at this rate he's going to be P5. Can he make it P3 for biggest final sector? Or maybe even P2 or P1? Let's see. No, he cannot. And Manlike has bailed. Yeah, he can't sit another time anyway, so Manlike is retired in the pits. We have. Is that Yanil going on a final lap? No, it's not. He's finished. Lifeboat is down by half a hundredth of a second. Epic Veil, I think, will be out as well. Is he? Yeah, he's out of this session as well. Kevin's is going to get into the line in time, so we'll get to him last. Leonardo's out. Zane is out. Christian on a lap. Who else are we looking for? That's Fraser goes to second! And Lifeboat improves on his time. Fraser nearly broke it, but it wouldn't have mattered. Lifeboat gets ahead, .044, now into the 108 ones.
But Epic Veil is going to come back with vengeance, you would imagine, up by half a tenth through the first sector. Is most likely going to be the final driver over the line. Absolutely ringing the neck of this Haas in the middle sector, looking for any scraps of time he can possibly find, dancing on the throttle, coming through turns 9 and through turn 10. The long turn number 10 again, struggling to get the traction down.
He's giving it everything, he is, Epic Veil, like he has all season. He is improving, but he's not improving by enough if he wants to get pole position. Sergioli is coming round. He's only 11th. Another disappointing qualifying session from Sergioli. But now will his teammate manage to get up there? He's got a driver in front of him. He's just pulling into the pits. Is it going to be good enough to get pole? No, it's P3. Is there anyone else going for a lap? No, that's it. And Lifeboat proving he is the unstoppable force in this league by taking another pole position and putting himself in a great position for the race as well.
I have to say, I think Epic Veil will be fairly satisfied with that, though, especially with his main championship rival down in 11th. Like you said, back-to-back poor qualifyings for Sergioli. The race pace is very strong, but it is Lifeboat on pole. I don't think he's taken too many poles this season, but we'll be very happy to wrap that one up and take it away with him. Good lap from Fraser, continuing the good form, back-to-back second places in the last couple of rounds, and then Epic Veil ahead of man like ASRT Christian, Yanel, good performance for Williams, Kevin's Leonardo, George Ansell and Zane rounding out the top 10, covered by just over 0.2 of a second.
And there is your grid. So we have 19 drivers. Finley at the bottom, unfortunately. I'm sure we saw him higher up earlier in the season, but it's just not been his day. But there is a 36 lap race ahead of us, so anything can happen. After all, we did see the heroics of Leclerc and Hamilton in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on the 8th of December. And it was fun to watch as Norris dominated the field.
It was. Wasn't necessarily a classic, though, it must be said, but go down in McLaren folklore for picking up that Constructors' Championship, first since 1998 and first overall championship since 2008, of course.
Finally, an Abu Dhabi Grand Prix we can talk about. Let's not talk about the one from 3 years ago.
Correct.
Or the one from the previous 2 years either, because nothing happened except retirements. Well, there was only one retirement in 2022. There was no retirements in 2023 because the lead lineups didn't change. The lineups didn't change at all between the end of 2023 and 2024. I think that's the first time it's ever happened. Ignore the start, by the way. It's fake, as you can tell. They're not even trying.
The faux start.
Full. Nice spinning right round like a record from Diogo Silva. You can't park there. What's happened?
Nassim absolutely flying into the barrier at the exit of turn number 3.
Oh dear.
Hit the wall with so much force, I'm surprised in real life he didn't go through the wall.
Now, just give me a second. I'm going to change my controller because it is running out of battery.
Oh dear. I'm going to have to do some filling, aren't I? Who won the faux race? Let's have a quick look. This usually doesn't give a good example of who's going to win the actual race in a few moments' time. But it will. Oh, I've just continued. No, I haven't. It was Manlike, starting from 4th, potential possibility there. ASRT Christian in 2nd, and even Nye coming from 12th. to finish in 4th. The winner of the race of the first person to retire was Finlay, started 19th, finishes 19th, although the two Hasses putting in a commendable effort there. Are we back, Logan?
Yes, we're back.
Excellent
I don't know why
news.
they show the points here, because of course the points are different for the PSGL. We have 16 for first, not 25. Make it closer. Just hoping F1 awards every driver a point.
Yes.
That won't happen, though.
Interesting.
I understand why.
I don't particularly want to see points handed out to every driver.
I think it should have 1 point for the winner and no one else gets a point. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
They get paid money, and whatever money they get paid is in the money list. They have a money list as well. So the Monaco Grand Prix will have a big prize pool. Saudi Arabia have a big prize pool.
I see.
Like the golf. And George Morgan has not been talking. No one has been talking in 13 minutes.
Who are we missing? Because we're supposed to have 20 drivers, but...
The Alpine. The other Alpine. Which I can't
So that
remember
would normally be Lawrence.
I think Lawrence is joining for the race, he said. But if Lawrence does start the race, he'll have to start at the back of the grid.
Of course.
As he did not take part in the session. For some reason, we have to choose our team again.
I think that's a... I was going to say something, but I don't know the answer.
It's a bug. Yeah, it's a bug. I don't know what's happened here.
I think they just like to do a full reset. Make sure everything is working A-OK.
Fair enough. Waiting for Evan Knight to go to Williams, and McLaren and Mercedes to go to Finlay. Just being told there's going to be a 100 place grid penalty for Mr. Tito.
No!
I'm getting a 200 place grid penalty for not mentioning that our sponsors are GT Omega. GT Omega, the leading manufacturer of racing peripherals. From gaming chairs to sim racing cockpits, improve your gaming setup with GT Omega today using the code PSGL, all caps, but check out for 5% off.
If that link doesn't make you want to go there, then I don't know what does. That's the greatest transition into anything I've ever seen. I mean, it came
Be
from
there
nowhere.
or be
Couldn't tell it was
penalised.
going to happen.
Be there or be penalised.
Otherwise, you're getting a 200 place grid penalty. McLaren Honda levels ×3. That's how bad you are if you don't get involved in it.
It's funny they went from that to... Finlay and Evan Nye are... Alright, finally they've done it. Right, I don't know what happened there, but we are not ready yet. Got to do the grid. Oh, we can't do the grid because he had to... Yeah, we're not getting a Lawrence update. If he doesn't come, then he's going to start at the back. If he does come, he'll have to start at the back. He's not here right now in the Discord.
We need to get the countdown timer going.
Oh, for goodness sake, Sasaki has to use the loo. Hold on 1 second then.
Oh, someone's just left. Someone's trying to make life harder for everybody involved by jumping out. Not appreciated. Who was it? I think it looks like it was potentially Fraser. Not good.
Sorry, I had to head downstairs. We've lost one. Who is it?
It's Fraser. Fraser's jumped out, and I don't know why.
Oh, he kicked out Sauber.
Fraser's game crashed.
Crash. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I was a bit of the. Oh, he's probably. Here he is. Get the end of that kick, Sauber. And reset the grid. Grid is correct. Check if grid is correct.
We wait to see if Lawrence joins in the next 5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1, a half, a quarter, 0.125, 0.0625, 0.03125,
I'm impressed to see how long this goes.
15625. 0. We're going underway. Hard luck, Lawrence. You have your chance. Maybe next time.
You snooze, you lose.
Just like my Tinder dates, which are 0. I'm very hot, as you can tell. How about Lepe Fan winning the Scottish Open last night in the snooker? Ranked number 84 in the world. Take that, Jordan Brown. He deserved it. He came from 5-2 down to beat Mark Allen 6-5 in the semi-final.
Mark Allen, very, very accomplished player.
But he's never won the World Championship or even made the final. Right, anyway, on to the nitty-gritty business. I've noticed, by the way, the grid is somewhat off. The grid boxes at the front are actually a bit further to the left as they should be, as you can see, or are right, but they're left.
Yeah,
see the kick.
That's interesting.
That's a mistake. That needs to be patched for the next game, because it should be completely straight. Fairness. Or are you going to get a 10-second penalty, Ocon? Any penalties? Ocon will be getting all the penalties, and Behrman will be putting in all the Hulkenberg-esque performances. If he can perform like he did in 2024, I've got high hopes for Behrman.
His 2 races for Haas. I know he got 10th in Baku.
Oh, it's a Haas. Let's be honest.
Convincing? I know he was quicker than Hulkenberg
and Behrman in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo was a mess, to be fair. So Brazil, it's not really all his fault.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he's very little experience in wet weather. Anyway, here we go. We have 5 lights ahead of 19 drivers. Let's go, Dutch. And immediately Lifeboat runs away, and Epic Vale's going to take second place on the outside. Into Tarzan we go for the first time. And it will be Lifeboat that leads Epic Vale. Fraser, Manlike and Christian going side by side, but Manlike wins out the back. And there's a massive battle behind. And I think one of the Mercedes, George Ansell, got involved massively, and lucky is not have any damage. Yanil makes up a place. And they're still going side by side at the further back. It's the Aston Martin, I believe, was getting involved into some fighting through the S's. Into the next corner as we go, the middle sector of this short track. Of course, it was much different back in the 80s, and that's some moves happening between Sergioli and George Ansell going on the outside, heading into a DRS zone, which will not be activated until the next lap. And he's going to get the position. Nicely done from Sergioli, already up 2.
Yeah, good start from 11th on the grid. 18 drivers starting on the medium tyres. The only 2 on the softs are Lifeboat and Epic Vale. But we've got a Mercedes of Finlay entering the chicane backwards.
And he is still in last. He started last, he will stay last, albeit 4.5 seconds down. DRS enabled for lap number 2, 35 to go. And it will be Lifeboat that has the advantage of being ahead, but Epicville will have the advantage of DRS. The gritty Haas now, I'm calling it that because it's going to be racing on the back. If you don't get the meme, well, you're missing out.
Oh, yes. We're going to leave that one there. Very close quarters still in the midfield. Fraser struggling to cling on to the coattails of the leading duo, trying to make the most of their soft compound tyres, and then the Ferraris sandwiching Yanil in 5th, 6th and 7th. Leonardo was very close coming out of turn number 1 of Tarzan, but a bit of a messy run through the banking of turn number 3 has just pushed him back a little bit further.
3 tenths separate the top 2. They've already broken DRS. It's between them then, and only them. Is Epic Vale going to make a move? Lightbout's going to be defending this, it seems. Epic Vale will not make a move further back. It doesn't seem to be any. It's not really much of an overtaking spot, even with DRS on. Maybe it's just for drivers to get close up in preparation for the long straight down towards Tarzan, which is about to happen because we've got this massive bank curve, and Epic Vale's right behind. Lifebout will not challenge. Epic Vale will take the lead. And the fastest lap.
You would imagine are going to work very hard together, but for the guys behind, the likes of Fraser, the likes of Manlike, who's very close to the back of the kick tower through turn number 1, this is all going to be about the long game. Eventually, in this first stint, the mediums are going to start coming to them. Fraser and Manlike both getting out of shape over the curb coming through turns 2 and turn number 3, but keeping it pointing in the right direction just about. But yeah, this is about the long game. These medium tyres will eventually come to them as those softs start to wear.
Yes, as you said, Manlike and Fraser are struggling through turn 3. It's quite an easy place to lose time if everything goes wrong through that corner, so you've got to be careful on how you judge your braking zones and cornering through turn 3. As we go further through the order, we're looking at Yanil right behind the Ferrari of Christian. This for 5th place on the road, heading towards the grandstand area. Massive grandstands, always packed with Max Verstappen fans, or are they McLaren fans? I'm not sure. I mean, it's got to be Verstappen. He's the only Dutch entity in Formula 1, as I remember. And Zane has lost position to George Ansel, who now takes himself into the top 10. Moves are happening. Manlike ahead for a podium spot. Sergioli up to 8th. No change in between. Lifeboat still behind Epic Vale. He couldn't get close enough to retake the lead. I think there's going to be a bit of a temporary truce, like in NASCAR, they have all the drafting. That could be the case here as well, as Yanil gets very close to Christian out of turn 3, and through the S's they come. And it's going to be Christian that remains ahead for the meantime. 2 tenths ahead though, and Leonardo closing up as well, so it's going to be stuck in a Ferrari sandwich is Yanil. Well, he is right now, but it's going to be an even tighter one at this rate. George Ansel trying to get past Kevin's for 9th, with Zane and Nassim behind him. 2 Aston Martins chasing down a Mercedes, another Mercedes power car, not the case in 2026, they'll be Honda.
I'm just riding on board with Lifebout, and he has used a considerable amount of ERS. It was down at 15% at the end of the lap. Managed to get it up to 40, but potentially struggling a little bit with pace in this early stages, this RB car, which could explain why on the previous lap he wasn't able to flip-flop with Epic Vale and try and pull away using the DRS to the cars behind. And doesn't look particularly close here as we come down to start lap number 5. And again, isn't going to make that move. It's actually Fraser behind, getting past Manlike. This is good news for the group behind. Fraser with a little bit of a mistake down into turn number 1. Massive lock-up on the front, right? Just spat him slightly wide of the apex, and the McLaren of Manlike almost clattering into the rear of him. But that gap stabilising in the past couple of laps. 1.6, 1.7 seconds from 2nd down to 3rd. And that will be music to the ears of that group behind.
I'm looking through who's getting the advantage of turn number 3, and Nil was getting close to Christian into turn 3, and now is in 2 tenths. Christian getting close to Manlight though, who just lost position to Fraser down at Tarzan. Now Yanil's got off the track, he's got a problem, and he's lost several places. He went off out of the middle of the 2nd sector, and that's going to cost him a lot of positions. He's now out of the top 10.
Very, very easy mistake to make though. If you just put too much of that car over the curb coming out of turn number 8, you basically Tony Hawk it style going off the circuit. You get stuck, the floor of the car grating over that curb, and it throws you offline, and yeah, paying a very, very heavy price, dropping 5 positions. Lifeboat much closer on this turn, and he's going to get the lead back from Epic Vale as we start lap number 6. Manlight swapping places with Fraser for the 4th or 5th lap in a row. SRT Christian had a little look at the inside of the kicks out, but thinking better of it, and now is his teammate for company behind.
Yeah, and Anil trying to get defensive with Nassim, and he somehow holds it together. Great defense, and redeeming himself now for all them lost positions. Now he's going to have to chase down his teammate Zane for a place back into the top 10, and he is getting quite close to him. I do apologise for the flashing around, if you know what I mean. Just completely changing, because of course I don't want to bring this up. It's just impractical and takes away some of the view. Yanil closing up, trying to get them top 10. Sergioli trying to get into 6th place. He needs to overtake the Ferrari of Yves Leonardo, who's now alongside his teammate in 5th and 6th for back up to the top. Lifeboat and Epic Vale closing up. There's a slide from Epic Vale out of the hairpin, and now he's going to lose a bit of time that he could have gained, and he nearly lost it out of the penultimate corner's exit. But it looks like he's going to get through. Lifeboat's not had the best banked curve, and now it's going to all change and further back as well. Christian gets back through. What about the 2 Ferraris? What is it going to be for them? My goodness, he nearly ran into Manlight, did Christian, and Sergioli on the outside trying to get through, but Leonardo's having none of it. He now has the inside, does Sergioli, but a clash! They came together. How did they not come to blows and get damage out of turn 3? That is phenomenal. Somehow Leonardo is in P6 still.
Well, you have to say, though, that Sergioli, almost the master of his own downfall, absolutely launched it around the outside of Leonardo into turn 1 with Tarzan, but SRT Christian in front was slightly wide of the apex, and that pushed Sergioli even further wide, which allowed Leonardo to hold on to that position. Christian, the previous lap and a half, was a little bit wild, had a terrible run through the final corner. I think he did the same thing that Epic Vale did on the previous turn, so just got to be careful. Potentially overheated those rear tyres, going to have to get them back under control.
Let's watch the leaders then. Lifeboat starting to close up. I don't think Epic Vale had a great exit out of the penultimate turn, so it's going to be plain sailing for Lifeboat. He's going to take the lead once again. Further forward, it's going to be Manlight that takes 3rd place. They just keep switching around into little groups, are they? But they've got to be careful behind Fraser and Manlight, because these drivers in the mid-pack are coming through. Zane in 10th as well has got Yanil for company. Unwanted company, I should say. And Finley still right at the back, 6 seconds down. It's just not been going well for him today at all.
100%. Dropped out of the DRS train, and since then it's just been so difficult to try and close back up. Needs a safety car. Coolman getting ahead of Nassim in the battle for 14th.
Yeah, Nassim's lost a few positions.
Out of the points, yeah.
He's lost a lot of momentum too. He's got McKiller back behind him, trying to barge his way past, and that's Coleman having a problem around the middle section, and McKiller trying to get past on the inside of McKiller, but it's not working. Of Nassim, sorry, it's not working now. McKiller's battling Chris Rebel, who is being kept a watchful eye on today. Back to the top 2 now, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing another change for the lead again. There it is. Work. Fraser is staying behind now. He's got Christian for company now, though, so he's got to be careful whatever move he makes. It's like a giant game of chess at 300 kilometers per hour it's being played.
Well, I think Fraser's pretty happy to sit behind, because man, like on the previous lap, took a decent chunk out of the leading duo, but then Code Brown coming out of turn number 3 was completely sideways, nearly threw all of that hard work away. Thankfully only lost a couple of tenths to the leading duo, but now Fraser will probably be thinking, this looks a little bit sketchy, I've got to get past this. But McLaren car quickly hits the bump on the inside of turn number 8 and almost does what Yanil did a few laps ago.
Surprised his floor has not suffered extreme damage, and that's McKillany went off the track. Yanils went off the track. Sorry, we missed that. Christian's lost the position to Leonardo. And now he's going to be battling with Sergioli, who runs into the back of him into the grandstand area. It reminds me of Hockenheim does that section, which I miss on the calendar. Now, further up, it's going to be Lifeboat that's going to take the position. But here's where the real battle's at. Sergioli needs to get through if he wants to be in this fight for the championship. Fraser's got up ahead. He's going for the inside, but oh, what's this? Leonardo! Sorry, not Leonardo. Christian has just countered it and now is staying in 6th, but couldn't get ahead of Leonardo, and that's a mistake from Christian out of turn 3. Very feisty in the mid-pack, I've got to say.
Wow, that was out of the blue, wasn't it? It looked like it was just going to be all calm between 5th, 6th and 7th down to turn number 1. Sergio was very close, but wasn't really shaping up for a move. Christian deciding that attack, clearly the best forward defence, as he launched it up the inside of his teammate. Very nearly some sizable contact between the two Scarlet cars, both of them in the end keeping it going and holding on to 5th and 6th. We've got another yellow flag, and I think it's Diogo Silva who's taking the trip into the gravel.
Yeah, it's Diogo Silva.
Yanil did.
Indeed, and he's actually going to have Finlay behind him. Finlay can actually do something for once. Look how close Sergioli is getting to Christian. He's just wanting to get through. Come on, let me through.
And the leading duo are getting caught as well. 1.6 seconds, going to duck under that now as well. So those soft tyres, I think, starting to just lose that edge over the mediums. They're going to gain a little bit down this straight, courtesy of the DRS, but Manlight going to try and make up for that down to turn number 1. It's Epic Vale, who's very wide, going into Tarzan corner, made a complete Horlicks of it, and that gap is going to stay at 1.5 seconds. It's actually closer, or smaller, sorry, than it was at the start of the straight, which is not how this DRS sharing should be going.
Yeah, as you saw, Epic Vale and Lifeboat being switched positions. So have Manlike and Fraser, but it'll all be kicking off at the end of the race. There'll be no friends around the final 15% of this race, which will be 6 laps, I believe. They're just doing it so they can get into the fight, because they know that they are trying to cancel out the soft tyre strategy. Manlike,
the softs are dying, by the way.
Oh, they are, and they seem much slower coming out of that corner as well. Coming out a very orderly fashion, the peloton. I say the peloton because all the cars are there, if you know your cycling lingo. But Lifeboat and Epic Vale, I expect another switcheroo. But I'm not sure if Fraser, unless he finds some extra oomph, they're starting to spread out, which is not what they want, as Lifeboat and Epic Vale stay together. And there is Fraser. Gets ahead. And now it's within DRS. This is crucial now. They are within DRS. They can close up and launch an attack at Tarzan, as the Sim has lost another position. They're going down to P15.
Yeah, I think Epic Vale's tyres are shredded. Temperatures absolutely skyrocketing on the previous couple of laps. That peloton, like you said, behind have now closed into the 1 second window. So it's going to be very much about defence for this leading duo. I would not be surprised if they dive into the pits very, very shortly, so that they don't lose any time squabbling with these drivers on the mediums who can go for another 5 or 6 laps.
McKellar, by the way, has went on to hards in the pits. Interesting choice.
Obviously going to the end. No goal hangers we've seen from McKinnon from the previous couple of weeks. Epic Vale still very close, but way too deep down into turn number 11, dipping a couple of wheels into the gravel. Lifeboat with a slide coming out as well. These soft tyres are absolutely wrecked.
And now Fraser is closer to Epic Vale than Epic Vale is to Lifeboat. And there should be a move coming now. No pitters, no takers for a pit. Fraser going to try and get an important move. This would be if he can make it, but he's not close enough. But he's right behind them now. They are all right behind him. The top, I'd have to say the top 12, they all are. The top 16 are all together pretty much. The top 7 at most. And I think Finlay has given up the ghost. Yep, Finlay out of the race. And McKillany has actually slid off track and is still trying to get running. But look how close Fraser is. He is tired of waiting. He wants to get through now. He could try and move up the inside, you know, if he'd like to. But we know he's trying to play it very carefully. He's going to wait for the opportune time to make the move. And it could be here.
100%. Got to be careful of Manlight, though, who's continuing to look very, very racy. Fraser has to think about lap 36 rather than lap 13, locking the rears and the fronts down to turn number 11 and tapping the back of the Haas of Epic Vale as well.
Slide to the right. Slide to the left. Can he crisscross into the lead? Or second place at this rate? Oh, they're coming in. But they're going to get a DRS boost. And now Fraser will be in the lead of this race, as that is Sergioli and Christian going to battle. Sergioli has to go on the outside as Christian dives to the inside just before the braking zone. And he's lost the position. Sergioli into 4th place now.
Textbook stuff around the outside. Man like a little bit wide through turn number 3. Leonardo was sniffing a potential opportunity to renew the spoils that we saw from last week between the Scarlet car and the Papaya car. Now battling for 2nd and 3rd place. Man like very wide there going through turn number 7. But yeah, we said it a couple of laps ago. Those soft tyres were absolutely shredded. Not surprised at all that the 2 leaders dived into the pits.
And they'll be at the back of the field, unsurprisingly. Lifeboat and Epic Veil have done their dirty work, and now they have got 23 laps on these medium tyres, and hopefully the safety car doesn't come out at the worst time, because that would ruin their race. And there's going to be some work being done here. They are 4.2 seconds behind Diogo Silva, who's down 15th and well behind the leading pack, and it's Fraser and Manlight. They're going to be doing their old tricks again and try and break away from Leonardo. Or is he? Leonardo is coming close, but not close enough, and he's hit the back. He's too close.
Yeah, I was going to say, clearly was close enough because he tapped the back of the Kicksauber. Yasser Saki, I have to say, has been making really good progress, squabbling over 8th and 9th with George Ansell and the Mercedes losing a further place to Evan Nye. But Yasser Saki, I think he started 16th in this race, now up comfortably inside the top 10. This has been a very, very good recovery for the driver, currently 4th in the championship.
And you know what's even better? There have been no penalties as of yet.
Would you look at that? I think
Well,
Finlay got one.
Finlay got one for speeding the pit lane, but it was because he was going out of the race. So we're going to discount that for the sake of consistency and fairness. So half a second lead Manlight now has. He wants to be godlike if he wants to win this race, because he's got 17 other Formula 1 spec cars being hurled at behind him. And they all want that win. I think McKillenly's given up the ghost. Yep. Make it 16.
Fraser looks a little bit wild, has to be said. Just dipping a wheel in the gravel coming through turns 11 and 12. Will he get the lead from the Papaya McLaren down to turn number 1? He wants to wait behind Leonardo, almost forced to do the same. Fraser just boxed in, balked behind the Papaya car, but doesn't lose that position to the Ferrari. Sergioli chomping at the bit to try and upset the Apple car in this battle for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Looking for any opportunity, maybe trying it around the outside. The group behind them, though, Kevin's leading that, have dropped out of the DRS range.
Yes, they have. And Zane actually lost a position. He must have got all squiggly out of Tarzan. And we have, and that's, that's McKillen going off. That's why yellow flags there.
What, though? That car was not ghosted. Lifeboat and Epic Veil nearly slammed into the back of the Kicksauber that was retiring on the left-hand side. That could have been absolutely disastrous.
Oh, no, that would have been disgusting. I would have asked them to restart the race. No, that's not how it works, I'm afraid. But there definitely would have been something like that. You see Manil going head-to-head for P12. There's barging, and he's forced, off to the gravel. That's going to be looked at, perhaps. Down to them in the end, and now they come out off the banked curve for the battle, and it's going to be Fraser that's going to take the lead. Leonardo, is he going to dip his head into the battle? He is! He's going to try and overtake Manlight for a second. He goes right to the inside. This is a very brave and dangerous move. Can he pull it off? No, he backs out at the last moment, but a brave move. He sent a warning shot to Manlight, has Leonardo.
Robust riposte, though, from Manlight, leaving just enough space on the inside for the Ferrari. Fair enough racing. At times it wasn't last week, but thankfully enough, this one was clean and retaining the status quo. Fraser coming through, Manlight holding on to 2nd place ahead of the Ferrari. Nothing so far from Sergioli in this little battle between the leading quintet, as Kevin's just about holding on to the trails of that group in front.
Oh, and Epic Veil's past Diogo Silva, but Lifeboat's struggling to get past Diogo Silva. Diogo Silva's holding him up. Is this a strategic move so that Manlight can get the win? I think it might be. The two McLarens, they have a game plan.
And Lifeboat is losing a hell of a lot of time. He's going to get past now, but I don't think he'll be pleased at all with the antics on show there from the Papaya McLaren car, and absolutely launching it into the chicane. Should just about hold on to the DRS range as Manlight takes the lead back from Fraser. Leonardo not coming through. Sergioli very close to the back of him. I think Leonardo just tapped the back of the Kicksauber.
He did. And George Ansell's now behind Coolman, who's now in 10th. Yeah, but I think he held both of them up. Very good thinking from Diogo Silva, who's taking the fall for the McLaren team, it seems like. They need to get these points. They want to win. They want the glory. They want the title of PSGL race winner. So the two Ferraris are trying to dip their head into some battles, as we can see. Christian right behind. The top 5 cannot be separated. Maybe the top 8, top 9. Top 9 can't be separated. Where's this in the real Formula 1? Oh!
I would say top 6. Top 6, because Kevins doesn't seem to have the pace, but Zayn making his way through in that Aston Martin, the green machine, and looking to apply the blowtorch to that second Ferrari of ASRT Christian now.
Yeah, sorry, we saw George Ansell get very squiggly in the second sector, but he's still on the track by 14th place. What's going to happen here? Manlike is under attack from Fraser. Is Leonardo going to dip his head in? He has a front row ticket to the battle, and he's going to try and get involved. He's not going to try and go for both of them, is he? My goodness. No, he's going to just go for Manlike, but my word, that would have been something spectacular if he pulled it off.
It's attack to defence very, very quickly, though, because Sergio was sniffing an opportunity down into turn number 3 through the banking. Couldn't quite get that Haas far enough alongside to really upset the positioning of that Ferrari car, and remains in 3rd position. But that was a little bit cheeky from Leonardo. Went for a very tight line through turn number 1, and it almost paid dividends. And Fraser's off! Fraser's off! He's taken the curb. He's Tony Hawked it.
He's Tony Hawked it, and he's given the position up to Leonardo. And now he's going to be under attack from Christian and Sergioli.
Big, big, big mistake. Cracking under the pressure a little bit. Sergioli thinking about a lunge. Now he's way too late on the brakes. Just got to try and calm it down, Fraser. Try and keep yourself in the race, because he's still in a good position in 3rd place, only losing a couple of spots. Got to get those tyre temperatures back under control, get the head back in the game, and continue to soldier on. But a very, very uncomfortable moment for what was the race leader. I think might lose another position here to a very feisty-looking Sergioli. And
Leonardo is going to take the lead for the first time. And further back, Sergioli surges past Fraser. Sorry. Can he pull it off? Can he? He's going side by side. My goodness, this won't end well if they're not careful. George Ansell has given up, it seems. He's just not going anywhere. So that is the Mercedes out of the running for this. Sergioli cannot get past. I'm sorry if I'm coughing. I don't know how that happened. Now Sergioli will be under attack from Christian if he's not careful. Fraser going wide again, but he's kept together. He looked like he was going very wide there.
It was beautifully defended, though, you have to say. Hats off to Fraser, keeping the championship leader at bay, who's now defending from ASRT Christian. The Ferrari is almost sandwiching this group of cars now in 1st and 5th place, as Leonardo has flown through the pack to take the race. It's Christian very close, thinking about a little look up the inside into 11, but sticking behind the Haas.
You know, and you're seen battling for 12th and 11th place, respectively. And it looks like that'll be going on to the next. But this is the main event. The front of the field, battling for the W. And they're all coming in. Oh, well, some of them are coming in already. So is this going to be soft tyres? Oh, no! Don't do that! Coleman's got a penalty as well. So 2 penalties for 2 drivers. They're going to go on soft. Sergioli now in the lead. This is a very crucial part of the race. Where is Lifeboat? He's ahead. And so is Epic Vale.
That's a race ruiner for Leonardo. That's going to absolutely ruin his chances. I mean, how does he play this now?
Ahead.
Because they've got to still try and catch up to Epic Vale. Think about it, though. You've got those soft compound tyres. 15 laps on softs. That is a long way to go. I'm starting to worry whether that strategy is going to work. We saw after 10 laps the softs were destroyed in the first stint.
Yeah, this is strange, but that's the road they have taken. And Lifeboat and Epic Vale are well ahead. They're 10 seconds ahead, I think. Or just on the cusp of it.
The undercut.
I guess Diogo Silva did not do enough.
Oh man, Manlight's off the road, taking that sausage curb, or the normal curb, sorry, coming out of turn number 10 and dropping back behind Fraser. Tony Hawking, another driver, making a critical error there as everybody else filing into the pits, with the exception of the Williams of Yanil. Epic Vale, though, and Lifeboat are going to reclaim the lead of this race, but this chasing pack behind continuing to make little mistakes that in the end I think are going to cost them their chances of trying to get this win back.
Yeah, and it's going to be between these two, it looks like. The 2 prime contenders in this race. Leonardo probably not going to get anything from this race at all, as Coleman joining in the middle of Christian and Sergioli, and now they'll be fighting for position.
Yeah, Christian not going to be happy about that at all. Has been undercut to quite some extent by that V-car, but almost pushing him through the kinks of the first sector. This is not a regulation overtaking point. They've got a very, very slow-moving Haas of Sergioli in front of them, who's just come out of the pits.
Yes, he has, and Sergioli will now be chasing the others, and that's Christian gone ahead of Coleman. Great move, and now into 8th place.
Beautiful stuff, opportunistic but fantastically executed, and Coolman dropping back behind that Ferrari. 8/10 Leonardo has managed to take out of the leading duo on this lap. Now a second. Do not rule out this chasing pack. Those medium tyres are old at this stage. Will it come back to them taking too much curb through the penultimate corner? Is Leonardo. Bit of a slide at the rear.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the clash of strategies is coming into play here. It's got the soft starters to medium finishers, and then we've got the medium starters to soft finishers, and that is a battle between Kevins and Yasser Saki. Yasser Saki winning that battle and going up into 11th place.
Fraser was a second and a half quicker on the previous lap than Lifebout and Epic Vale. Watch this space. These two are going to get reeled in incredibly quickly.
Yeah, but will they last to the end?
7-lap fresher tyres. The mediums are going to be struggling as well. You have to take that into consideration. Lifebout and Epic Vale is now almost, like you said earlier on in the race, it's a truce between these two drivers. They've got to work together to try and keep their chances intact and make sure that when the soft tyre runners get to them, they haven't got any tyres left to actually overtake them.
They'll also be fighting for the championship, so they've got to consider that as well. Lifebout, with a win today, and Epic Vale and Sergioli not scoring would mean he'd lead the championship. So here he comes back into the lead. And now it's going to be Manlight trying to get past for 4th.
Leonardo going very, very defensive, but the McLaren isn't going to pull through. Sergioli is just about getting himself inside the 1 second window of the trio in front. Christian with a horrible run through Tarzan corner, missed his braking point. An absolute treat to losing a couple of tenths there to the Haas in front. Nasima's retired in the pits. That is our 4th retiree with, 13 laps to go. We're down to 15.
And on the board with the top 2. Neither driver wants to give this up. Neither driver wants to make a silly move.
Fraser's off again. Fraser's done the same thing he did about 10 laps ago through turn number 9, but this time to even worse effect because he's lost the 2 places and he's got a horrible, horrible run as well. Sergioli almost diving past. This time he was firmly in the gravel. Last time he was just riding over that curb. This time he was in the gravel and in the grass and very lucky not to drop it.
Absolutely so. Only no corner cutting penalties yet, funnily enough. But only speeding pit lane penalties. So Lifebout's going to take the lead once again. And that'll put him in the lead. What's happening further back though is Manlight going to make a move. Oh, Leonardo going very defensive. It looks like he let him through. He just slowed down and let him through.
Yeah, interesting tactics. Remember, these two were busy banging 10 bells out of each other in the previous race. So a bit of history between the pair. Looking like they're getting stuck into one another once more. ASRT Christian, a little bit wild through the banking at turn number 3, but close to the back of Sergioli, who is close to the back of Fraser, who is close to the back of Leonardo, who is close to the back of Manlike.
Sorry, just the middle section, there's action happening further back. Zayn and Coleman have been battling. Yasosaki and even Nye are battling as well. Kevin's coming in behind too. This is for a points position as well, so it's going to be very crucial in their championship standing.
Sergioli looks quick and he looks confident. He's taking the reins of that Haas in the middle sector and making it look very, very easy, and Fraser could be fairly vulnerable. Leonardo a little bit deep into turn number 11. That just brings the kick Sauber back towards the Scarlet Ferrari car. What order is this quintet going to be by the time we get down into the braking zone of turn number 1? I really don't want to be a betting man on that as Epic Vale takes the lead back with 11 laps to go.
And he immediately gets past, but he's got to be careful. Fraser's going to be behind it. He's not going to be far enough, so it's all okay. But Leonardo with a 10-second penalty back into 3rd. Now 5 seconds the gap between 2nd and 3rd. Give or take a few tenths.
So they've got to be about half a second a lap quicker as those soft tyres are in real bad territory and puncture territory, potentially for a few drivers. So that could be interesting. The soft to medium strategy that Epic Vale and Lifebout have gone for may yet still be the one to go for. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Leonardo quaking in his boots. Look at his rear image. I wouldn't want to be looking at in my rear view mirror, I tell you that.
Yeah, a bit of a scary one. They're not taking too much time out of the leaders on this lap either, so have the tyres started to balance themselves out, and Epic Vale and Lifeboat could be in a two-horse race, an exclusive club battling for this win. 10 laps to go.
Yeah, that's
I
what
think
I
they're
was
just going to
thinking.
start to get more and more confident.
They don't want a safety car. If they get a safety car, and that will be game over for these two. Or actually, it might just reset the race entirely. Oh, a battle
Sergio's going
behind!
around the outside.
That's Fraser and Sergioli battling for position, and Sergioli remains in 6th place.
Yeah, he made a mistake in the braking zone, dipping that front left into the grass, lost him all kinds of grip, and having to concede that battle.
So now the gap's 4 seconds between 2nd and 3rd. Starting to make a charge again.
This just keeps flipping this way and that. You really cannot predict it at all, can you?
Well, I'm no pundit. I'm just a commentator. I'm just seeing what's on my screen.
It's down the main straight, so what that tells me is that Lifeboat and Epic Vale need to be more efficient with their DRS swapping, because around the rest of the lap, they're only losing sort of 2 or 3 tenths.
3.78 is now, yes, they are losing a few tenths. Their cornering is definitely very different. But now Epic Vale going to be making the move again. You know what happens there. It's been going on all race long. Leonardo going to be getting through man-like. And that's Fraser and Sergioli battling again. And he's going forward man-like in the inside. Well, he was thinking about it. He's going for it. He's actually going for a double move. This would be sensational if he pull it off, but he can't do it. That is so close. He's really teasing it now. The warning shot's being fired left, right, and centre. Leonardo's got to get a move on, and with a 10-second penalty, he definitely has to.
And Sergioli's just getting more and more frustrated. It was Manlike who basically blocked his assault of Fraser in front. Just getting caught up in this train. He's clearly got the pace to make his way to the front of it, but just unable to do so as he's sending up the inside. This is where Fraser's made a couple of mistakes. Wasn't quite far enough alongside the braking zone, and now has to go from attack to defence because ASRT Christian nibbling at the heels of the Haas. Look at the switchback and the overlap he's got.
And he's going to be going side by side with him, toe-to-toe, into the corner. This is going to be dangerous if they get it wrong, but it doesn't. And Sergioli gets ahead, stays ahead of Christian. And now into the next lap. There are 8 laps to go here. As they cross the line, it's the lead changes again. The gap gets smaller, and it'll be smaller once Manlight gets the DRS. And into the corner, Christian and Sergioli going to be battling again, and Sergioli gets defence in time. Kevins is throwing in the towel, and it's all over for him. Down to 14 drivers in this race. Diogo Silva still racing on. He's goal hanging for a safety car to get back in this.
Not a bad shout with how aggressively these guys are battling. Under 3 seconds the gap now, but remember from the first stint, this was the time where the soft tyres really started to struggle. Because they're on lower fuel, that is going to get pushed back in the race, but 7 laps to go. Do we really think 15 laps is possible on these soft compound tyres?
No, I'm fearing we're going to be having a lot of punctures. It'll be 16 laps, won't it?
Potentially, my maths might be wrong.
Yeah, because this is the 8th lap they've been on it. We're on 8 laps to go. Yeah, it'll be 16. They've done 8 laps, they're 8 to go.
Leonardo taking too much curb.
Coleman's completely skipped the corner. What happened there? Just fill me in, as there's seemingly more battling going on. Leonardo's going to lose his position finally. So, as we see them battle, what happened to Coleman?
I wasn't watching Coleman. I was watching Leonardo, who, was fully sideways through the penultimate corner. Took way too much curb on the inside. That was nearly him throwing it straight into the Armco on the right-hand side. Coleman, I didn't see what happened, but I think must have decided that his race was run. We are down to 13. Unlucky for some. Unlucky for the next driver that's going to retire, because with 6 to go, Leonardo again is really wide. Dips a wheel in the gravel. He's really struggling for tyre temperatures.
Oh, and he has Sergioli running in the back of him. There was a massive break there very early. but nothing done in terms of damage. There's been no damage, I've realised, in any of these battles. It's incredible how they've kept it clean. It's probably the cleanest aggressive fighting we've seen in a long time. This is a F2 after all. We should be thinking that they're going to be at standards, and they haven't disappointed. Safety car can still come out and change things though. Now, Manlight can see him. They can see the top two who are hanging on. This is going to be one tight battle to the end. Here's a tight battle. Sergio playing a game of bluff, it seems like, as Leonardo goes into the inside and holds on to the position.
Yeah, the championship lead is going to have to get a move on here. Only 6th at the minute. Really struggling to make his way through the traffic. First it was Fraser that he couldn't get past. Now it's Leonardo that he can't get ahead of. This could be a big dent taken out of his championship advantage, Sergio, if it remains as it is now, which I think is very, very unlikely, because Manlike is very, very close, and by the end of this lap will be within 1 second of that leading duo. It's going to be a...
He is now!
12-car scrap for the win, technically.
I think he is now. Has he got DRS? Yes, he has! There's the DRS flap open!
Leonardo's wide again. Sergio thinking about an opportunity into the chicane. Got to be careful of Christian as well. Leonardo making a lot of mistakes. Those tyre temperatures absolutely through the roof, struggling to recover them. If he drops out of DRS range, that'll be more bad news for Sergio.
It's on. Here we go. Manlike coming towards Lifeboat, defending for his life. Leonardo defending for his life. Manlike won't get to head, but he will get very close to the two leading cars as Evan Nye and Yasser Saki battle at the corner of this for a point. Will they have a point to make? Oh, they're coming together and barging wheels, still keeping it together. This is fantastic.
Yeah, Sergio finally forces his way past Leonardo, who I think his soft tyres are already starting to scream and beg for mercy.
Sorry, Yasser Saki and Evan Nye's battle is still going on, and now his teammate Yano is getting involved. But eventually Yasser Saki gets ahead. Sorry, that battle was going on for such a long time.
Fraser locking the rears down to turn number 10 has nearly dropped out of TRS range. So many mistakes. That's the 3rd or 4th time I think Fraser's just got it slightly wrong in the braking zone.
The pressure's reached boiling point for every single driver here in the heat of Zandvoort in mid-December. That's not very good. It's Christmas. Here we go then. Who is going to come ahead? Epicville defending for his life. Lifeboat defending for his life. And it looks like they're not making any moves. Not right now. 4 to go. This is very exciting.
And Leonardo still fishtailing right at the back in 6th position right now. Those tyres screaming for mercy. Very, very interesting to see how this is going to go. Sergio, if he can get ahead of Fraser at the end of this lap, he will certainly fancy his chances of picking up another win. But that is a tall order.
A tall order indeed. Lifeboat and Epicville have been ahead the entire race, but that all may change as the drivers that pitted on the alternate strategy, I'm not sure which one's the alternate strategy, but the alternate strategy to the two up top are clinging on, trying to hold on to them and then get ahead when it matters. And they could do it in the next 3 laps. There'll be no safety car interventions from here. Look how close they are together. I wish every F1 race was like this, but unfortunately it's not. We can't do much about that. This is a video game. This is a race, and this is all to play for. Here they come, 3 to go. Who is going to take their move? Here it is. Manlight's on the outside. He's barged Epicville, and he's only hindered them. Both Fraser now going to try and take his golden opportunity, and he gets into 3rd place. And now he's right behind Epicville and in a prime position to win this.
I have to say, all that looked like was a misjudgment from Manlight, darting over to the left-hand side to try and send it around the outside. Got it wrong, and now he's tapping the back of the kick Sauber. Can Lifeboat try and escape? Fraser now trying to apply the blowtorch to Epicville. Still all very close together, nose to tail. First down to 5th. What is Sergio going to do? I think he might be thinking about a lunge up the inside of Manlight. Very, very shortly. In fact, now into turn number 8.
Not wasting any time as the championship protagonist Sergioli getting ahead of Manlike, and on the outside he's good. Oh, and then Manlike's taking a car with him. He's taking Leonardo with him. He had a penalty anyway, so it's just got even worse. Manlike and Leonardo out of contention. And now, with 2 and a bit laps to go, Fraser is going to try and get ahead of Epic Vale, and he nearly did there. But now he's going to have a chance down towards Tarzan. Out of the back stretch they come. Into 2 laps to go. They are going to fight. Nip and tuck into the corner. Fraser defended like a madman possessed, and they're going to the inside. Lifeboat trying to hold on. Fraser loses position. Sergioli and Epic Vale are ahead, and now it's all a gritty Haas story again.
Sergioli is suddenly the favourite for this race. Who would have thought when he started from 11th place? But it was all down to the absolute carnage caused by Leonardo and Manlike coming out of turn number 10. Once again, it's those 2 banging heads and coming off worse, the pair of them, like they did in Silverstone. But it's Lifeboat versus Sergioli. We were 4 wide down to turn number 1 on the previous lap. But the inside is Fraser. Can he try and duck back underneath ahead of the ailing Haas of Epic Vale?
He's trying to defend the position all his life. After all, they have a championship to win. Now, Sergioli will have a chance to win this from Lifeboat and stop his reign of terror and get back saying that he is the man to be messed with, or not to be messed with, I should say. Here we go. Final lap is about to begin. Hold on to your hats. Fasten your seatbelt and put that phone down. Here comes Sergioli down the inside. He'll have the advantage ahead. He'll have to run like crazy because he has Lifeboat all over him. Epic Vale and Christian go side by side. Fraser and Chris Rebel go side by side. Chris Rebel come around this side, and he's battling with Zane. I was about to say, where's Chris Rebel been in all this? He's seemingly been out of contention until now. It can all change as Epic Vale loses position to Christian. Christian into 3rd place.
Fraser messed it up. Fraser was slow out of the final corner. His rear tyre's struggling. He's overheated them massively, and that's cost him a potential podium spot.
Lifeboat has one job to do. Get ahead before the finish line and extend his streak.
Fraser's gone into the side of Epic Vale down into turn number 10, and the kickstart was thrown out of contention.
Oh, no.
Big contact with the Alpine and the Williams as well. It's very, very messy at the back.
Very, very messy indeed. Where's Zane? He's trying to get ahead of Chris Rebel. It's very messy. We have to cut to the front. This is for the win. Can Lifeboat steal it at the line, or is Sergioli too far ahead? Sergioli might be too far ahead. He's using all his energy. It's not going to be enough. Sergioli has won.
One of the great PSGL performances, you have to say. Absolutely brilliant from Sergioli. Chris Rebel held on to 5th place by 5 milliseconds. Fraser ends up 10th. Manlike ends up 11th. Leonardo ends up 12th. All 3 of them were battling for the lead, but 5 laps ago. And a catalogue of errors means that combined they score 1 point in this race.
1 point. Sergioli. Wow. Where did that come from? From low down in the field to start, he gets the Christmas miracle 9 days early.
11th to 1st. I mean, the strategy worked, but you have to take your hats off to Lifeboat and for Epic Vale. They clung on right until the very end. ASRT Christian, we haven't even mentioned it, picks up a podium for the Scuderia Ferrari team. Chris Rebel ahead of Zane, Evan Nye, Yassir Sakiyano, and then Fraser, who picks up the fastest lap. So it's 2 points for Fraser, Manlike and Leonardo combined, considering they were 1st, 2nd and 3rd and battling for that with 5 laps to go. That will not be a very happy return indeed. But Sergioli, after all that, extends his championship lead.
Went up 10 places. Started 11th, finished P1, and got the win he needed, and gets ahead in that championship even further. Epic Vale finishes behind Lifeboat. Not good news for him. Fraser gets the fastest lap point as a consolation, so he gets 2 points, not 1. And yeah, that was a Christmas cracker, I gotta say.
It was very, very much. And we had, 5 or 6 drivers battling for the win. In the end, Sergioli coming through to take what is his 4th win in 8 races. And he's only contested 6 of them.
Absolutely.
No, 7 of them. He DNF'd in round number 2.
Oof. Fraser said he expletive bottled it. Unfortunately, that's the way Formula 1 can be. This volatile world of Formula 1 where anything can change. It's like the stock market. It is extremely volatile, and one bad mistake, one mishap could ruin your chances outright. My word.
Well, as the final race of 2024 goes, certainly was a way to send us off into the sunset for a few weeks. Remember, everybody that's still here, GT Omega, main sponsor of PSGL, if you head over there, and use the code PSGL at checkout. As Logan said, all caps, you'll get yourself 5% off the best sim racing equipment in the business.
Absolutely. So, I think that will do it for this in 2024. It's been a fantastic ride this year. There will be, of course, Stewart's investigation, so it might change. Sergioli might not win. I think he's won it. I don't see what he did wrong. But yeah, Lifeboat and Epic Vale had a trick up their sleeve, but the trick was on them, as Sergioli fought through and stole it at the death. Wow. From P11 as well, which is nuts.
100%. 100% incredible drive.
Yeah, that will do it. That will be the last race. I've already said that, but yeah. That was taking a Christmas break for Christmas and New Year. We'll be back January the 6th. January the 6th, which will be, I believe it's Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
It is Saudi Arabia.
Yes, we'll be down where every sport is getting promoted by Saudi Arabia. Snooker, football, boxing, and of course WWE, and then there's Formula 1, which has been there since 2021, and it will be at the Jeddah Corniche, which is quite an interesting circuit. Liked by most, loathed by others. Well,
remember last time we were there?
Oh yeah, we don't talk about that. If you know, you know. Anyway, it leaves me to say, I've been Otaku Logan. He's been T-Dub. We wish you all a very, very, very Merry Christmas. Please don't have too much Christmas dinner. Especially the turkey. Or it'll be 3 strikes and you're out. Ha! Bowling reference I can fit in for once.
Goodbye, everybody.
And a Happy New Year as well when it comes. See you in 2025 for more PSGL action. Well, there's actually action happening right now in F1 on PlayStation. Go check that out, and I'll see you next year. Good night.